Holy moly! So these are all beautiful Bradshaws here. I was just thinking when I looked at the history of.
Well, that was grandfather Bradshaw.
Oh, okay.
That was Ed Bradshaw, and then Jimmy was the son, Eddie was the son, and Harry.
Right.
And of course, Harry done the best
of the golf
family.
But was there other brothers as well? I think golf as well. Was there? I think I was just reading up a little bit before I left. There was like 3 sons played golf. I think there was
3 pros.
Yeah,
right,
they were
okay.
the 3
Well, there was
sons.
actually 4. Actually, there was another chap called
Huey, Eddie, and Jimmy. Yeah.
Huey was a good golfer, but he didn't take it up.
Now I should clarify that we're here with beautiful Jason Bradshaw, who is what would your current position be? I think you're
vice captain,
supreme leader kind of thing. We say supreme leader, and then we have the actual captain here is the lovely Denzil, and your surname I should have
Jones.
Jones, a proper good old Welsh Denzil Jones.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say, as we looked around here just before we talked, I mean, this golf club from the start seemed to have a Bradshaw infestation, and it's still here.
Yeah,
it's
the first
like
thing
a second
you notice
home.
as a newcomer to the club is that the place is steeped in history of Bradshaws.
Yeah, because even Teresa now, who grew up, I knew Teresa well. She hung out with my sister Siobhan. Like she's just a picture of her inside the door, and then I get in here and there's Eamon Bradshaw, and it's an amazing thing. Now this is the Bradshaw connection runs deep, and obviously incredible players. I think in particular, obviously Harry having won the PGA Championship 10 times. I think he equalled Christy O'Connor's role. Is there a sense that I mean, I don't know whether there's anyone ever understood why it is that this little area produced so many big players, so many great players. Eamon Darcy, there's so many came from just this small club.
Well, the village, yeah. Well, as I say, the hunger for the golf.
Right.
The golf. There was a hunger in the early stages, and they had nothing else but the golf course. And the Bradshaws themselves were reared on the golf course, down in the little gate lodge.
Right.
In the early days, and grandfather was the pro for years. So all the sons grew up and they all had an interest. But the local community and people from the area all were great golfers because there was nothing else for people in those days.
Right.
There was no GA club in the village,
nothing.
no rugby clubs there,
Yes.
even local soccer even.
Exactly, there was nothing. So all the people who became great golfers, artisans, members, etc., they were all great golfers because the hunger was there and the love of the game. They loved the game.
The way they started, I think, because they would have had to caddy when they were very young to get money, to bring money back to the house kind of thing. So they picked up a lot of the skills from caddying, So
right. And also, what's a great thing about the club is that, there would be certainly back, jumping back 50 years or more, a perception that it's a wealthy man's game. But Delgany Golf Club certainly had that kind of openness to, a lot of, working class people. And
it's funny because my wife joined the club before I did.
Right.
One of my first memories is dropping her down to the clubhouse and being parked between a new Mercedes and a highest van, and the 2 guys got out of their own vehicles and off went to play together. And I thought, well, that's a decent attitude to have,
Yeah.
When I was brought up, golf was definitely the rich man's game.
Yeah.
But not here. It's all sorts, Joe.
All sorts. Yeah.
But
golf is the winner here, not.
As I say, back in the early 50s and into the 60s and 70s, you could have 20 or 30 caddies on a weekend.
Sure.
Coming from local areas to caddy. So they grew up as well.
Sure.
So between members and caddies, there was a nice.
And do you guys think it was just chance that it became, very kind of, this golf club in particular became very open to everybody, or was it part of the original plan when it opened that we want to make this golf club accessible? I don't know whether it was just chance that happened, or whether it was actually kind of part of the makeup of the place from the start that, well, we can, have this for everybody's enjoyment.
Good question.
I don't know. I don't know if it was planned or involved, but certainly it's an ethos we try to continue.
Great.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's part of the fabric of the place.
Yeah. The family ethos is huge in Delgany. There's so many families.
Yes, correct.
So when the new kids are born, they're 4 and 5 getting cut down clubs and whatever. So it continues on again. So that's very important.
Well, there is the kind of nickname that's the friendliest golf club in Wicklow, which it does seem to have that sort of. They've always had a kind of a casual sense. My father worked here as a greenkeeper, and just that part of being. I live right across on the other hill, like on Blackberry Lane, so it was something I saw all my life, and we did try to make sure Dad was working through the binoculars, but it was very hard to spot him. He camouflaged after a while. He got smart.
The word we're looking for here was a friendly club. Club.
It's very, very social.
Friendly club.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I'd say about 80 or 60% of the members, when I was a young boy, came from Dublin. That's basically it. And then
it's a mix.
Yeah.
From
but
South
then the Dublin people come out to live in Wicklow,
South
and
Dublin, North Wicklow.
You know, a lot of business
and
men
people who have come in from overseas and to join here for one reason or another. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, I heard you let Kilcoolers in at one point as well, just for experiment, but I don't think it worked out. So yeah, you have to be very
they
careful.
have the best, one of the best golf clubs in the world, called the Druids Lane. You know.
Yeah. Now we should ask now in regard to just what the achievements were, especially in the case of Harry. I mean, did it kind of affect Delgany itself? Because he always seemed, from what I've heard, a very down-to-earth kind of guy. I don't know whether it changed the landscape of Delgany Golf Club to have those kind of wins coming in. I don't know whether there was... I'm sure it put Delgany on the map in many ways.
Well, as I said before, media and things like that weren't around in those days.
Right.
So the achievement and the people, did you get out several weeks or months later that Harry won the Canada Cup in Mexico City.
Right.
So,
but it would still kind of come around though. It wasn't like people didn't know, so it would sort of have this slower effect.
Years after the event, it kind of sunk in. Nowadays you have
it's instant.
Overlap.
Yeah.
But I say everyone was proud of him, and Jimmy Martin, Eamon Darcy, John O'Leary, who was a member, as I said before, from a young age. So the club itself has 4 Ryder Cup players.
Right.
So I think that's a one-off myself.
Sure.
Well, there's a club in the north of Ireland claims that the same thing, and that a couple of years ago we were going to have a challenge match between the two. they didn't rise to the challenge.
Chickens.
They didn't rise to the challenge.
But as I say, to have 4 Ryder Cup players,
it's fantastic.
Associated with the club.
Well, especially the population in the area, you kind of think that's a fantastic achievement for this.
In the early days of the Ryder Cup was just basically between England and Ireland.
Right.
Well, Britain and America.
Okay.
But in the early days, the like of Harry and that broke through. He was winning things in England.
Yeah.
So they had to accept him onto the team.
Actually,
the Dunlop Masters, etc.
If you go upstairs, you'll see in the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, well, I think we'll have a look.
The bag is British Ryder Cup team.
Right, there you go. Okay. I should just quickly ask before we leave, because it's like a Hall of Fame. People will be able to see all the amazing players that have come through the club here.
The Ryder Cup team.
I'm just curious, Shay, how come you've have you got golf talent? You've got all the blood.
I played in the Irish boys when I was young.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Okay.
I was so good. I used to hit the ball 300 yards, and then I couldn't find it.
Nice.
The others were only hitting it.
But that was always on the green, unfortunately. So that was
small in stature, but I could play. I could hit the ball.
We'll head up to the Ryder Cup.
There's that little plaque now. You have Harry, Jimmy Martin.
Right.
John Eamon Darcy.
Right, I'll have a look. I'll get a little bit closer. Good old Eamon, yeah.
Good old Eamon.
I know John well, and Jimmy Martin, yeah.
Great Orton player.
And there would have been, I don't know whether there was after a while, it just became an expectation on the club almost to sort of produce, because when you're Liverpool and you're producing the Beatles and loads of great bands, I don't know whether there was a period of time where all eyes were kind of on.
Well, the club's probably produced probably 12 or 14 kind of local professionals.
Yeah.
Now they're all scattered around Ireland and abroad at this stage, but it certainly has had a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
So Eamon's last, I think, Ryder Cup was 87. 4-time Ryder Cup player.
Yeah, right. No, you said, is there a room now with the cups themselves, or was
we'll go upstairs.
We'll have a look and see.
There's the old clubhouse, Paul.
Right. Yes.
That's going back.
Wow. Yeah. That's a tidy little spot.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And there was also.
Well, I have a link. I was just saying to Jason, I have up on the side now. I have a around 1924, just some patty news footage of the club. Oh, he has to go grab something. Yeah. Now, beautiful kind of idea having everybody kind of lined up in the hall here. 1950 to present. So the idea too now that you've got a I don't know if there's a sort of current star that you would say, well, there's somebody who would be you're kind of particularly watchful of, or whether we're going through one of those periods where we're just waiting to see who comes out of the woodwork, or.
Yeah, we've Simon Bryan, who's on the Euro Pro Tour, so he's a promising player, and Mark Nolan, who's probably they'd be our best players at the moment.
Right, brilliant.
There's a challenge match back in '58, our 50th anniversary.
Nice.
So Harry Bradshaw and JB Carr versus Christy O'Connor and Max McCready.
Wow. Now, it's 1908. The club started, was it? It was.
Yes, 1908.
Right, and the ground itself, was it? I don't know whether that was a direct kind of deal with the Latouche family, because this was the grounds of, obviously, the Latouche had this wonderful big stretch of a mansion and estate and Bellevue House. But how did it come about?
Well, the original club was founded actually by Greystones Golf Club members, because they weren't allowed to play golf on Sundays. So they clubbed together and they bought the land from the Latouche family.
Right.
And basically, they
Six-
started the club off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
1908.
also the church was involved. They weren't allowed to play with Sunday.
That's right.
Right.
The rulings at the time now.
So it was really a place for heathens and sinners, and so it kind of is still. It's nice to see that tradition is still being
There's the
upheld.
Bradshaw family themselves, Paul. Now
Okay, so that's
all-
the father and 4 sons, is
That's
it?
the four son. Has been
yeah,
seen
yeah.
on BBC.
Right, there we go.
They were up here in the.
1949, Pat Taylor
Right,
up here.
brilliant.
Yeah, and they filmed.
There you go. That's
That's
great.
Huey.
Now the great thing is that
It was a great golfer too. He never took it up.
I must look for that footage now. If we can find that footage, it'd be.
It is, yeah. It's on the
particularly brilliant.
world. What's it? Old World Cinemas thing.
Right,
Yeah.
but I want to know, YouTube is a
Yeah.
wonderful source now for finding. I'll have a look and see if we can find
Yeah,
that.
we'll
have a
head
look at the
upstairs.
cups, and we hope now there's real gold and stuff like that. We can, just.
I had the silver. I used to clean the gold cup for him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when I was young, I used to go in. He had a little trophy
Right.
of the gold cup.
Ah, and would it have been actual gold now, or reproduction, or?
We solid gold.
Ba-boom.
They got a copy of the original Canada Cup.
Right, very nice.
And I'd say Christie, the family would have that in Dublin.
Right.
So we'll go into the main bar and then we'll go into the Ryder Cup bar.
Now, obviously, we're just touching on the surface of a lot of the great history here, and I'll put a lot of that in to the written piece, just to give people a clear idea of what the club's history is and the achievements that have been made. Hello again, Eamon. How are you? How are you? All right. Hi there. How are you? Bum, bum, bum. Ba, ba, bum. Nice. If we're lucky now, we lose Shay. We just keep taking corners and. Yeah, he'll catch up now. Ah, there we go. Nice.
Bar.
Right. There we go.
This is the kind of
Oh, that's great now, the full
Summary
history.
history.
And great idea. Nicely done too. It's kind of different than I expected, just a little cabinet and a plaque, but this is nicely done. And how long has this been up here now?
this is here really 3 years.
Oh yeah, because you had a huge refurbishment 2003, 2006.
But the clubhouse was brand new in
Right.
2006.
Right.
But we kind of converted this small bar into a Ryder Cup bar about 3 years ago.
Nice. Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a miniature of the Ryder Cup, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
But
yeah.
the Ryder Cup started between England and America. Mr. Ryder,
Right.
Sir Ryder.
Yeah, I'll have a look through the history of that now and just put it in
Yeah.
there. I think, obviously it's got a great deep
Harry
history.
was playing great golf at the time.
That's when they weren't eligible to play.
Ah,
They wouldn't let the Irish players play. So
Why is
I
that
think
now? Was it-
1953, Harry got his first Ryder Cup, but that was the first time an Irishman
right.
from the south was on the team.
Wow. And was it that just a kind of a class thing, or the good old no Irish, no?
Very British kind of.
Right.
Well, it
So
was,
to qualify.
it was set up between the two major countries, England and America.
Right.
Mr. Ryder at the time.
Yeah.
But then the Irish were playing so good golf at the time.
Right.
You know, Connor and Harry. And then, of course, you had the great golfers in the north called Fred Daly and that.
Right.
So
Right.
the north had their great golfers.
So Fred Daly and Harry were unbeaten in all their Ryder Cup appearances.
Ah,
They were
wow.
Unbeaten, 2 Irishmen, yeah.
So tell me now, for both of you, growing up in a family so heavily connected to golf, I don't know whether it was inevitable for both of you that you sort of accepted that, well, this is kind of the family business almost. I mean, you said you played early on, Shay. I don't know for you, Jason, whether it was.
The next captain for.
Right,
future
yeah,
captain,
yeah.
His
But was that-
father and all his side of the family were great golfers as
Right.
well. But they never took it up seriously. They became members of Delgany.
professional.
Right. And was it something
They
that
were
you
great
recognised very
golfers.
early on and embraced? I don't know whether there was any kind of thing of, well, this isn't for me at any point in your life, because it seems destiny almost. If you're a Bradshaw in Delgany, you'll get into the golf world.
Just
Well, they were proud of their ancestors. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The name, and they were proud of all the ancestors.
Sure.
So the hunger wasn't really in them. They became members, and this chap here and his fathers, and they were great golfers.
But what can happen too, Shay, is that like a son of somebody who's very successful at something almost deliberately avoids it because they just don't want to shadow.
Exactly. Well,
So,
that's right.
but I like the idea in the Bradshaw family, everyone just seemed to enjoy and embrace golf. It wasn't
Well,
like,
the name is there, and no matter
Right.
where you go, you'll always
Right,
So
but my point, my
Delgany.
question would be though, was there ever a point, especially for someone like Jason, who would have, been very aware of the potential of like following golf through as a career and all that, whether there was any kind of, struggle to think, well, I just don't want to, in case I'm not good at it, I don't want to go out there and try golf because everybody else is so great, or I've got so many. I'm sure it was.
I think
maybe
Harry's
it's just
son
casual.
never really took
No,
up golf. He
Harry
never
had
enjoyed
a
it.
daughter called Breda who played for Ireland.
Okay,
She
okay.
became once or twice international as a young age.
Right,
She's a
right.
member of Sutton now, I still think.
That's right.
And
And
she-
Jimmy's daughter, Teresa.
Teresa.
She's
Yeah,
had a few
she's great,
international
yeah.
golf as well.
She
Yeah, I
played
saw
for
her,
Ireland, yeah.
portrait
Young
downstairs, yeah, she's done very well.
players, yeah.
Right.
At a younger age.
But for either of you now, was it ever a consideration of maybe I should like really go for this, or I don't know if
it's
it's
clear, but I lived off my uncle's name. I was
Yeah.
proud of him.
right.
You know what I mean? You kind of.
Well, it
you
got you
don't
into a lot
have-
of parties.
No, but you'd be proud, and this chap would be proud
Sure,
of his
sure.
ancestors. We'd be proud of all the name Bradshaw,
Yeah.
and Harry especially. But as I say, the four Bradshaws were there: Jimmy, Eddie, Huey,
Yeah.
and Harry was, you know what I mean, and the grandfather. And this chap's grandfather was in the woods too, so and his sons became great golfers, but they never turned professional.
So they were born to the right hand side of our 16th green.
Ah.
So my father
Okay.
was
Wow.
grew up until he
Yeah.
was 6 or 7.
Right. Oh wow.
And then moved to the Glen of the Downs below the Glenview Hotel.
Ah. Okay. So he's pretty much always. This is his world, really. He kind of
So
wasn't.
they,
like he had
they
to.
basically they caddied when from they were probably 6 or 7 years of
Yes,
age.
yeah, but they were great golfers. And then they became members
Yeah,
here.
artisans and their members.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great golfers.
as I said,
Poor
I-
old Jimmy died.
Wow.
Did, yeah.
As I said, I will put in a bit of the more of the detail of the history and so forth. But we should just finish by asking: you're going to become captain. When will it be? February, March, April.
2018.
Oh, 2018. Okay, so it's a little bit away. Right, right. And is that something that I don't know if that comes with privileges? Can you walk around naked on the pitch? Is there some on the golf course? Is there some privileges that comes with being captain? Are you allowed to?
It's a huge honour.
Not in the daytime, anyway.
No.
Might bump into
And not
Shay.
in
You
the-
have to be
and
very
not in the
careful.
As you can see, you'll see some of the bags now.
Well, we
from
just
the
show you the
Ryder
bags.
Oh,
Paul,
brilliant.
briefly,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So this
Cool,
is
we can-
Eamon Darcy's one of his
yeah.
Ryder Cup bags.
I met him a few times actually. His wonderful brother John now. Just occasionally said hello to him, but
And
yeah.
that's the jacket they got in 77. They didn't have blazers then. They used kind of
Okay.
rain jackets.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one of his jumpers there.
Nice.
And Harry's bag is over here.
Now these have been kind of easy to get access to. I guess the hopefully the families themselves be proud to.
That's 1953. And if you see on the bag, it says British Ryder Cup team.
Bag Club's 1953 lapel. Thanks to Harry, son of. Oh yeah.
See this? The
Yeah,
name.
yeah. Nice, nicely done.
Oh, leather, yeah, but it's as you can see, it's the British Ryder
Yeah,
Cup team.
yeah. So I heard that from Denzil. He just mentioned the fact. Yeah. Oh, that looks great. Oh, is there? Oh, okay. Nice. Around the side. Oh, yeah, I see the LGW. Yeah. Nice. Ah, deadly.
So Harry was a pro in Pomar, I think for 50 years, Eamon, was it?
This is Eamon now. This
Oh,
is
of course,
Jimmy's
yeah,
son.
yeah,
son,
yeah.
Eamon.
How are you, young Eamon? And you've played a lot of golf, haven't you, Eamon, as well?
I played a little bit.
And your brother Paddy, and of course Teresa, and it's kind of a family thing again. I guess it would have
They're
been
all
that.
involved in it. Like Patrick's down playing a role. He's general manager and
Ah,
Teresa's
yeah,
in
there you go.
head of the
And
And Margaret's working across, I think, in
Glenda Downs.
yeah. So I guess it would be, as I said earlier, like a family kind of business, because once you know that world, of course, it's a lovely thing to be.
Well, I try to tell my mother that every day when she's cleaning me golf shoes.
And another thing, Eamon's brother Patrick,
Yeah.
he refereed the Ryder Cup in
Oh, right.
America. He was one of the youngest
Professional
referees ever to
Right.
represent Ireland, and he done the match between who was it?
He's still a few Tiger Woods and
Tiger
Wow.
Woods, and he done
Nice.
that.
A couple of Ryder Cups he was involved in.
Wow.
Stuff like
Oh,
that,
brilliant.
refereeing.
And he was only 31 at the time, wasn't he? He was a young man.
And what about the next generation? Are you teaching? Are you helping the next generation will continue this wonderful fine tradition?
No, it's all girls now.
Ah, yeah.
3 nieces now.
All
Yeah.
right. And they're all good though. Even well, if you're, if you go the route of trees and all that, there is obviously talent in every corner of the Bradshaw tree. So that's
Golf
just
for girls now is very popular again.
yeah,
So you never know, yeah.
You never
yeah.
know.
Fingers crossed.
And Eamon here, what are you playing after self, Eamon?
I wouldn't
The tea.
divulge that on camera.
Mainly PlayStation, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm very good at it with my fingers.